for joining us here today. Today we have with us Mr. Gautam Kapoor, Managing Director and Lead for Cybersecurity at Accenture in India. He is a notable cybersecurity expert with over 2 decades of experience. He has worked extensively in areas spanning cyber defense, digital identity, cloud security, and risk management. Gautam is known for helping organizations strengthen their resilience in an evolving threat landscape while enabling secure digital transformation at scale. Gautam, thank you so much for joining us here today, and it's an absolute pleasure to be having this conversation with you.
Thank you for inviting, Supriya. Really pleasure to be here.
Likewise, Gautam. So, Gautam, a lot has changed over the past few years with the advent of AI, right? And this in turn has had a tremendous impact on organizations when it comes to cybersecurity. In fact, I recently went through an Accenture study that was published, which stated that only 8% of organizations in India are ready to protect against AI augmented cyber threats, and 81% of the companies are in the exposed zone, which means that they don't have a cohesive cybersecurity strategy or the necessary technical capabilities, right? So on this cue, Gautam, I'd like to come to you. How do you assess the maturity of India's cybersecurity ecosystem today, and where do you see the biggest capability gaps?
No, thanks for that, Supriya. Look, I think all of us in India have spent a lot of effort in maturing the cybersecurity ecosystem over the last, 25 years. I've been associated with this industry over the last 25 years. So I know from what we were about like 10, 15, 20 years ago to what we are now, I think there's a lot which has happened and a lot of investment is going into cybersecurity. So, but with Gen AI, with AI, of course, things have suddenly, changed. The technology has taken a leap. Everybody is now establishing AI models. They want to have use cases where AI will replace human beings. Agentic AI will replace human beings. They want to use AI for efficiency. So therefore, there is a race to adopt, AI. Everybody is doing that. What that has resulted in is that cybersecurity is now doing a catch-up. Not many organizations have been able to keep pace with the AI evolution, and therefore have resulted in the survey results which you just mentioned, right? So only, out of the surveyed companies, only 8% were the one which said they've got good, security for AI. 81% in exposed zone. That means there's a very large set of companies which are not ready for the new AI-enabled threats and also securing their own AI, right? They're both components here, right? So we got to distinguish between that. One is, of course, you are developing your own AI and you got to secure that as well. So that's the first component. The other is that the AI-enabled threats have increased, right? So you'll find more and more adversaries now using AI, and are you ready to defend against that as well? So they're both components which are there, and I think the maturity obviously would evolve over a period of time. There is definitely a bit of a skills gap over there as well. Many of us are learning about how we can, secure AI and defend against, AI models. And similarly, you'll find that the supply chain maturity is also not that, evolved. So that's another one where I feel there is, there is a gap, and we need to do a bit more. So technology sophistication has increased both, on the AI side as well as the attack side. We need to catch up on the security side to, enhance ourselves to that level. So that I think is the maturity gap which currently exists.
Absolutely, Gautam, and thank you so much for that overview. And I'm glad you mentioned agentic AI and things related to AI. I'll come back to that later. Since we are talking about India's cybersecurity landscape, right? I'd like to take your views on another major development that has happened, which is digital public infrastructure, right? And it is being built through public and private collaboration, and it is layered and interconnected to drive innovation, inclusivity, and efficient service delivery, right? So all
Absolutely.
all of these services, including Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, eKYC, and so on, have been developed jointly by government and private entities, and this trend is only expected to increase. So, what unique cybersecurity threats are emerging in the Indian digital economy, considering increased public-private digital collaboration?
See, I think firstly, let me be absolutely clear. The public-private partnership obviously helps both sides. To the government, they get access to a huge talent pool of cyber professionals, which they can obviously leverage. To the private players, they get access to an enormous amount of assets, which are really big in many cases, right? The public ecosystems have some really large enterprises which are not there in the private side. So it's a win-win on both the sides. So the public-private partnership will obviously continue. What that's going to do is that is going to do a lot of digital or create a lot of digital ecosystems. The Make in India concept, the Digital India concept, we will do more and more of digitization as we go about. The government is committed to doing that. What that obviously means is that the attack surface increases, the overall attack surface increases. That also creates a lot of integration points. So government and private sector are now also going and adopting cloud. So the cloud security aspects, come in. So one of the big threats which I feel because of public-private, partnership is on cloud and API security. Cloud adoption, as that will increase, potentially there's misconfiguration in the cloud, or we've not secured the cloud, so there is misconfiguration. API is the integration layer, and there's a lot of integration which is going to happen between the entities. The government is now saying, I want to share more data. I want to create, data lakes of data lake where, I will have everything in one single location. So that creates API and integration layer. The second big threat is that this is going to bring a large data fiduciary in play, which means that one single organization might have access to a large set of data, PII data, citizen data for that matter, right? And that obviously brings the data protection threat to it, right? I need to make sure that this data doesn't get leaked, because now I'm, taking care of millions and millions of data records, unseen, I'm assuming only telcos would have that kind of a data in India, or banks for that matter, right? Apart from the public sector. So now, you'll have a large set of database which I need to secure. So there is a data privacy element to it. The DPDPA Act obviously tries to address that, but compliance to DPDPA has to be seen by these organizations. So that's going to be the second big one. The third big thing is, because you've got such a large database, supply chain attacks are going to increase, right? So organizations, entry point into the organization could be via a supply chain. It could be a software which you are installing, or it could be a third party which you are subcontracting. So that would be the other, version of it. Lastly, I must say that with all these public-private partnership, a lot of this is happening in the AI space. So AI models are evolving, right? And with that AI model, the threats on AI is even more. So you can see that whether my AI is secured or not, we don't know whether the government is spending that kind of a money to make sure that the AI models get secured. So those would be, what I think would be the big threats overall to the public-private partnership, which you spoke about, Supriya.
Taking the cue from AI models and data privacy and, evolving data models, right? I'd like to now come to the topic of agentic AI, right? It is seeing rapid adoption across industry because it can offer those real-time recommendations and personalization that everyone requires. However, they are all the more autonomous and it is very difficult to govern. I was recently speaking to a technology leader who said that he came across this agentic AI bot which was able to evade CAPTCHA, right? That is a huge problem. So with the rise of agentic AI, how should security models evolve to address autonomous decision-making and data access risks?
Yeah, I think the security fundamentals remain the same, Supriya. And we've been following that for, the last so many decades. The fundamentals are concept of least privileges, the concept of never trust, always verify. The never trust, always verify now is evolved into what is called a zero trust, right? And I think these models obviously need to be adapted to the new technology, which you said, like agentic AI and autonomous bots, which are nothing to, in my way, if you logically put that into a frame, it is a bot or an agent is like a human with intelligence, right? So you got to manage it accordingly. But of course, it is far more technologically advanced than probably the humans, and it is likely to be far more technologically advanced. So the zero trust model obviously becomes fundamental here. What is zero trust? You never trust, always verify. Don't trust the whatever is the agentic AI doing. Always make sure that there is verification. There is no implicit trust in the bot itself, right, or the agent itself. So you are making sure that I'm not trusting this bot. I'm going to verify whatever it is doing at every point in time, right? So that creates a better ecosystem. I'm also going to use concept of segmentation, micro segmentation. So make sure the bot is only in a segment for which it needs access to. It is not going out of bound, from where it is supposed to work. The second thing which we can do is, enable context-aware access, right? So context-aware access would be depending upon, say, location, time, etc. I'm changing the privilege or the access to it, or I'm doing a step-up authentication and authorization for that particular bot. So that could be the context-aware, access. Thirdly, I could also do ephemeral access, which is I'll give access only for a short period of time, especially for privileges which are administrative level. So if the bot is supposed to do some advanced privilege, I will enhance it, make him do that, and come back and take that access away, right? So that way, my element of access or privilege access is only limited to that particular, seconds, because the bot should be able to do that work in seconds. And lastly, manage the entire life cycle. So treat it like, like I'm provisioning an agent, I have an inventory for it. I'm deprovisioning an agent, I'm taking it off the inventory. I know what agents are operating in my environment. So the inventory is very important. Provisioning, deprovisioning, any kind of a change in access is documented. So life cycle management is also very important. So if you follow these things, I think you're far more better off in terms of maturity of security for these bots.
Absolutely, Gautam. And you brought across a very pertinent point that enterprises need to introduce also certain guardrails, even though they want the agentic AI bot or their technology to achieve its full potential. Also, Gautam, I'd like to know your views on what implications do you foresee from hyper automation and AI agents on threat detection and response frameworks?
There are two elements again over there. One is hyper automation brings about its own set of vulnerabilities and security risk. Automating without security is a risk. So therefore, security should be fundamentally part of any automation for that matter. The other thing is with automation, I'm able to digest a lot of data in less amount of time, right? So that's what AI is supposed to do. So as I'm doing more automation on technology side, I need to adopt the same on the security side as well. So it's the same model which cybersecurity professionals also need to adopt. How can they use agentic AI or automation in their defenses, in their detection capabilities, so that they're able to detect an attack faster than today. The faster you detect, the faster you remediate, the faster you get back to work, right? And that's really the biggest challenge. It's not very far off. In fact, it might be happening today that an AI attacker versus AI defender, right? And that will happen. You will have that scenarios where somebody is using an AI driven attack techniques, and I need to also use the same on the other side. And only then I will be able to have this level of maturity that I'm able to ward away these advanced threats, right? So look at what is happening with deep fakes, for example, right? You can't even know whether the other side of the person is genuine or not, right? It's so realistic nowadays. So how do you take care of those kind of threats? How do you take care of advanced phishing threats which are coming in? So I think both sides need to evolve. One, of course, automation etc. needs to be with cybersecurity inbuilt, and cybersecurity also needs to adapt and adopt all these models.
Like you mentioned, cutting AI with AI is becoming an imperative, right? So every organization sooner than later is looking to adopt AI in every single form. So being an AI native enterprise will soon become an imperative, right?
100%. Yes, 100%.
Absolutely, Gautam. So, Gautam, how is Accenture aligning its cybersecurity advisory and managed services to support these AI native enterprises?
So Accenture is committed to using, Gen AI for for its clients, and let me be very clear what that means, right? Because it can be misinterpreted in both the sides. So number one, we are developing assets for our clients, which can help them become more efficient, which can help them become or use agentic AI in their cyber defenses, in their detection capabilities, in their monitoring capabilities. So we are really investing in these, agentic AI agents development across the area. So we're doing it for security operations, we're doing it for identity, we're doing it for data protection, we're doing it for GRC, we're doing it for vulnerability pen testing. Across the landscape, we are investing in developing these agents, which can help enhance the overall capabilities of cybersecurity and maturity of the organization. We are also so that investment happening on both the sides. One is the Gen AI, which could increase efficiencies. So there could be assistant, SOC AI assistant or IDAM assistant, which can sit on top of your identity solution. It can sit on top of SOC solutions, or it could be agents which will do work for you. So that investment is obviously going and we're committed to doing that over a period of time. And as as a global SI, a lot of these developments happen globally, and those are all available for our clients, in India. So we can leverage all of that. In fact, a lot of the developments happening in India, by the way. So all of this is available to our clients. We're doing workshops with clients to showcase to them what these agents and agentic AI agents are and how they can leverage this overall. So yes, we are definitely working towards what we call it as a reinvention cybersecurity.
So, Gautam, speaking about reinvention cybersecurity, right? I mean, you've been in this field for over 25 years, so your views would be invaluable to technology leaders. So, I'd like to ask you, what would you say are the top three cybersecurity imperatives that every enterprise must act on in the immediate future?
So I'll make that four for you, Supriya, if you may allow me. So the number one imperative, I think, is with this change in the technology landscape, which has happened. I think every technology and cybersecurity professional needs to reset the governance framework. The governance framework was traditionally around traditional technology, but now, obviously, with AI coming in, the reset needs to happen. So, a fit for purpose governance model needs to evolve, which should obviously include the new technology, the new automation, the newer things which companies are trying to do. For example, for a native AI company, it needs to be an AI cybersecurity governance model, for example, right? And governance is very important because you got to understand what risks you are dealing with and how to tackle with that risk. Yeah, if you don't know the risk, then how will you kind of put in all your controls? So that's first imperative. The second imperative, and I've been saying this for donkey years, to be honest, is what I always call a security by design, right? Or shift to left these days, or security by default. Multiple words which you will or packaging which you will hear, but what this really means is bring security upfront at the design table or the business when the idea is being discussed, so that security can be built into it. I still see organizations where security is seen as a testing part, right? They've developed everything and they call upon security and say, hey, isko test kar do, just test it out and give us a certificate that all is secure. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. That's a gap fix thing which you're doing, and the security guys would not help you. So security by design is the second imperative, which is very, very important. Whether that is AI, whether that traditional technology, whether that is e-commerce, whatever you're doing, make sure that security is inbuilt from the start. The third imperative is maintain a resilient core. What does that mean, right? It means that I have a cyber security defense which is able to ward off any attack. In the unfortunate event of an attack, I am able to detect it. I am able to, close the gap or cut off the cord so that the attack doesn't, make it bad for us. And then I'm able to recover from that attack very quickly, right? So that is the resilient organization overall. So maintain those set of capabilities, technologies, processes, which you're able to maintain, which you're able to do this, right? And lastly, as I said, reinvent with cyber, reinvent cyber with Gen AI. So I think that is very, very important. So use, of course, you got to secure the AI model, but use Gen AI and use agentic AI in the cyber area as well.
Right, Gautam. So, Gautam, from everything that we've discussed so far, right, I think it's established that cybersecurity and even governance for that matter cannot just be a tick box exercise, right? There needs to be actual, it really needs to be actually be in place. However, when organizations embark on their AI transformation journey, they find that they need to either rip and replace their existing infrastructure or, they need to undergo a technology overhaul, which may not always be possible. So, if I had to ask you, how should they rebalance their cybersecurity investments while they are on their AI transformation journey?
Can I stick my neck out? Why do we need to rebalance it, cybersecurity? My fundamental disconnect with the question is, and a lot of times I get I'm asked this question: hey, how do I rebalance cybersecurity? Right? Board members ask this question about, hey, how do I rebalance cybersecurity investment? My answer to that is you don't need to rebalance. Cybersecurity is a fundamental need. Why are we rebalancing cybersecurity? Why are we putting cyber in the other side of the bucket and saying, okay, how do I balance it? No, the cyber needs to be in the same bucket as business. It is an enabler. If you don't have a cybersecurity, I'm afraid you can be out of business. There was a recent example in UK where a company just went out of business because they had a ransomware attack. So I think it is imperative for all organization to say, I am going to spend in the cyber. Yes, I agree. Cyber, there is nothing as 100% secure system. I agree with that. So it's a risk game as well. So you have to understand what risk and threats you have and manage that appropriately so that the residual risk is to a level which a board or the CEO can accept. But there is no way we should be saying, how do I rebalance? It is a fundamental priority for organization. You got to spend on cyber. So I'm sorry, but this rebalancing thing doesn't resonate with me. Cyber, the money needs to be spent on cyber.
Thank you so much, Gautam. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you, and it was wonderful to gain knowledge from you on where the capability gaps are as far as cybersecurity is concerned, and AI, agentic AI, and the technology is going to keep reinventing. But cybersecurity is always going to be a non-negotiable, and it has to be there in an organization. And thank you so much for taking time out for us. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much, Supriya. It was a pleasure talking to you.